व्हाट्सअप गाइस, आज की स्टोरी है द कर्स ऑफ मम्मी. Okay, the chapter 1 is Where are Tutankhamun treasures? August 4, 1922. The Valley of the Kings. Here I am the Here I am at last in the Valley of the Kings. It's a valley. I am in the desert with lots of sand and the tombs of dead Egyptian kings in it. It took us a long time to get here, and we all felt very hot when we arrived. But that doesn't matter now. It's good to be here. I am happy to be working with Mr. Carter. Lots of young men wanted to work with him in the Valley of the Kings, but he took me because of my father. My father and Mr. Carter are good friends. They often meet at the museum in the Cairo. My father works there. Also, I am a good artist. And I know a lot about Tutankhamun too. Did you know he was a king when he was only 9 years old? But he wasn't king for very long. He died when he was 18. 18. That's only 1 year older than me. Why did he die then? Perhaps we can find the answer when we find his tomb. Mr. Carter thinks it's in the Valley of the Kings. He began looking for it 5 years ago, and he doesn't want to stop. Some people think he is crazy, but I don't. Nearly all the other old Egyptian kings have a tomb here, so why not Tutankhamun? There are about 20 of us, men and boys, working here in the valley. Perhaps I can make friends later, but for now I am going to write this diary and my diary can be my friend. There are not any shops or cinemas here, so I need something to do in the evenings, and perhaps one day people are going to want to read my diary. Why? Well, perhaps we are going to find Tutankhamun tomb or a different king's tomb or some new treasures. Egyptian tombs have lots of treasures in them. You know, gold and jewels, but thieves took treasures from many of the tombs in the past. And there are tomb thieves in Egypt today too. People come from over the world to look for gold and jewels. When they find a tomb, they take all the treasure home to their countries. I think that's very bad. I am happy to say Mr. Carter is not a thief. He says Egyptian treasures must stay in Egypt. I think he is right. But our work not going to be easy. Mr. Carter has only 1 year now to find Tutankhamun tomb. He is a good rich friend, Lord Carnarvon, and he gives Mr. Carter money to help with our work. Lord Carnarvon likes Egypt a lot and he loves old Egyptian treasures. He is got lots of them in his home in England. But after giving Mr. Carter money for 5 years, he must be careful. Not long ago, he called Mr. Carter to England to told him, only one more year. Looking for Tutankhamun, Howard Mr. Carter came back to Egypt, and once he brought a little yellow bird with him. That bird is going to help us find Tutankhamun tomb, said Karim. He is one of the boys working in the valley, but with me. Okay. How can a little bird help us? I don't know. But it's true, we need some help from something or someone. Perhaps you are thinking that's a year a long time. It's not when you are looking for a little tomb in a very big valley. Where are all of Tutankhamun treasures? Mr. Carter thinks he knows. And I think he is right, but let's wait and see. Well, good night, diary from me, Tariq. Okay, August 25th, 1922. Today, I am going to tell you something about our days in the desert. We begin work very early every morning when the sun comes up. We dig for 6 hours with not much water to drink. At 12 o'clock, it is very busy, very hot. So we stop to eat, to drink, and to sleep. After 2 hours, we begin digging again. We stop when it gets dark. My back and my arms always feel bad in the evening. We are very hungry when the sun goes down and the nights in the desert are very cold. Everyone is tired, so we don't talk much when we are eating dinner. I don't know what other people think about all day, but I think about Tutankhamun. Mr. Carter says he lived with his brothers and sisters. When he was a little boy, later he got married to the beautiful Anaxinamun. Some people say he has no tomb because he died suddenly when he was very young. But tombs were very important in old Egypt, and Mr. Carter thinks Tutankhamun has his tomb somewhere in the valley. But where? It's late now and the sky is dark. Suddenly I feel cold. Is Tutankhamun's body in the tomb somewhere near us now? Are we going to find it soon? Is Mr. Carter Little Yellow Bird going to help us or not? Who knows? September 12th, 1922. Some visitors came to the Valley of the Kings today. People often come here to look at the open tombs. They look at the pictures in the tomb and the bodies of the dead kings. We call them mummies. You know, today visitors were artists from France. They said everyone in Europe is interested in Egypt now. They are building new Egyptian cinemas and hotels in the big cities. And shops are selling Egyptian beds, tables, chairs, and pictures too. Artists can make a lot of money with Egyptian things. A young girl with the dark hair and the beautiful strong face walked along the valley behind the other artist. For a minute, she looked at me. Then suddenly she dropped something in the sand and began to look for it. It went to help her. After a minute, I found it a gold bracelet with an Egyptian eye on it. I gave it to her and she smiled. Thank you, she said. My teacher, Mr. Ayrton, gave it to me for my birthday. Isn't it nice? I didn't want to say lose it. She had a beautiful dark eyes. I wanted to speak to her, but what could I say? Excuse me, Annie. You have a beautiful face. Of course not. I know her name is Annie because an older man called to her, come on, Annie. Coming, Mr. Arton, she said, and she ran after him. Okay. In the evening, the French artist left and went back to their hotel in luxurious car. Annie smiled at me when she left, but then her teacher, Mr. Arton, called her and the smile left her face and she ran after him again. Am I going to see Annie again? I like her a lot, but I don't like her teacher. Mr. Arton, he is a lot older than her. Perhaps he is a very good artist. But why must she run to him every time he calls her? She needs to be with young people, not old Mr. Arton. It's nice, another beautiful night tonight. Desert nights are wonderful, but again I feel very cold. I think the dead kings come near us and watch us at night. I can feel their dead eyes looking at us coldly. Some people think they are angry with us for digging here. They say bad things happen to people when they go into Egyptian tombs looking for treasure. But Mr. Carter is okay, and he began digging in Egypt years ago. So perhaps they are wrong. Chapter 2. There is something here. November 4th, 1922. Something wonderful happened today. We found a step in the sand. It was about 4 p.m. when someone suddenly cried out behind me. It was my friend Karim. Tariq, quick, there is something here. I ran to him and we dug fast. We soon found a step in the sand. Under the first step, we could see a second one. I said, stop. We must get Mr. Carter back. Someone found Mr. Carter and he ran over to us. When he saw the step, he was very excited and he couldn't speak. We all waited. Then he found his voice. Dig, he cried, dig, I say. So we all dug very quickly and we found 5 more steps before the sun went down. Then we stopped. Now we are all very tired but very excited at dinner. There were many questions in all our heads. What are we going to find next? Is there a tomb here? Is it going to be open or closed? Early. Tomorrow morning we must dig more. I don't think so. I am so good. I am going to sleep very much tonight. At last, there is something new in the sand, and my friend Karim found it. November 6th, 1922. Tonight, I can tell my diary everything. But only my daddy, Mr. Carter, says we can't tell people about the steps in the sand. He says they are very important. Today, important. Today we have 16 steps in the sand. Then we found a door, and the most important thing, the door wasn't open but had old Egyptian seals on it. Mr. Carter went down the steps and looked at the seals very carefully. For a long time, we all waited in the sand under the hot down in the sun. Down to the dark, looking at that old Egyptian door, Mr. Carter began to laugh. There are his shells, he called up to us, Tutankhamun's shells. I think it's his tomb at last. Well done, everybody. We all laughed and cried. It was very exciting, but after a time, Mr. Carter said, we must all be quiet. He doesn't want a newspaperman to hear about his aunt to come the Valley of the Kings, bringing lots of visitors. First, I must tell Lord Carnarvon, said Mr. Carter. We can't open the door without him. Put all the sand back and say nothing about this. So we covered the door and all the steps under the sand again. And now we must wait for Lord Carnivore. It's going to take 2 weeks or more for him to come to Egypt by ship from England. How can we keep quiet for 2 weeks? It's a good thing I am far from my family, and that beautiful French artist Annie is far away now. I think she would like to hear all about this too. Without them here, there is nobody to talk to. Nobody but you, my diary. So good. Okay, now it's November 12th, 1922. Something very strange happened today. A snake killed Mr. Carter Yellowbird and ate it. Mr. Karim was ill, and his face went white when he heard about it. The yellow bird helped us to find Tutankhamun's tomb, he said, but now Tutankhamun sent the snake to kill the bird because he is angry with us. We must stop digging at once and never open the boy king's tomb. Mr. Carter told Karim to be quiet and not to say all those crazy things in front of the younger boys. Listen to me first, Karim. He said Tutankhamun died thousands of years ago. He can't be angry with us. Do you hear me? Who is right about Tutankhamun, Mr. Carr or Mr. Karim? I don't know about a beginning to feel afraid. November 23rd of 1922. Today at last Lord Carnarvon and his jar 11 arrived. Evelyn arrived. Lord Carnarvon doesn't look well. His face is very white and tired. When they arrived, we took the sand off the steps and the door again. Lord Carnarvon and Mr. Carr went down the steps to look at the seals on the door. They were very excited. Lord Carnarvon's daughter stood next to me on the first step, and I heard say, I hope there is something, there is time. Oh, Father, you are very tired and ill. I hope this visit doesn't make you feel worse. She spoke very quietly, but I heard her. Lord Carnarvon and Mr. Carr stayed down looking at the door for a long time. They, they were very quiet. We went away to have something to eat and drink. When we came back an hour later, they came up to the steps to meet us. Okay, now it's November 12th, 1922. Something very strange happened today. A snake killed Mr. Carr's yellow bird and ate it. Mr. Karim was ill, and his face went white when he heard about it. The yellow bird helped us to find Tutankhamun's tomb, he said, but now Tutankhamun sent the snake to kill the bird because he is angry with us. We must stop digging at once and never open the boy king's tomb. Mr. Carr told Karim to be quiet and not to say all those crazy things in front of the younger boys. Listen to me first, Karim. He said Tutankhamun died thousands of years ago. He can't be angry with us. Do you hear me? Who is right about Tutankhamun, Mr. Carr or Mr. Karim? I don't know about a beginning to feel afraid. November 23rd of 1922. Today at last Lord Carnarvon and his jar 11 arrived. Evelyn arrived. Lord Carnarvon doesn't look well. His face is very white and tired. When they arrived, we took the sand off the steps and the door again. Lord Carnarvon and Mr. Carr went down the steps to look at the seals on the door. They were very excited. Lord Carnarvon's daughter stood next to me on the first step, and I heard say, I hope there is something, there is time. Oh, Father, you are very tired and ill. I hope this visit doesn't make you feel worse. She spoke very quietly, but I heard her. Lord Carnarvon and Mr. Carr stayed down looking at the door for a long time. They, they were very quiet. We went away to have something to eat and drink. When we came back an hour later, they came up to the steps to meet us. Something of the seals on the door are broken, said by Lord Carnarvon. So we are not the first people to find the door. Perhaps the tomb behind the door has nothing on it. Okay, nobody spoke. Everybody thought all of the gold and the treasures we hoped to find there. But Lord Carnarvon continued. It's a wonderful thing to find a new tomb. We many find pictures on the walls and the mummies or other beautiful things on the pasted on the wall. Our work is very important than our soul. There are stones behind the door, and we must now have some many stories about the stones, and now we move away to the stones. So we work at all afternoon. The stones are big and the heavy, and I don't know when we are going to finish, perhaps tomorrow. Is it cold again tonight? Are we going to find treasure in Tutankhamun tomb? In his spirit near us, watching us? I am too tired to think about or to write anymore. Now good night, diary. Okay, chapter 3. November 26, 1922. Oh god. It was late at night. I saw that French artist Annie far away in the desert. I felt happy. She came nearer and nearer to find me. Now I could see her face and it was very sad. I wanted to speak to her, to take her in my arms, but she was far, far away from me.